Are you worried about the effects your actions will have on them in the future, specifically for boys? Remember, the internet is forever, and what we do in life echoes in eternity. Your response to filthy?
I mean, I didn't really think about it before I got pregnant, but after I did, I definitely, again, I don't regret anything I've done in my life because it has gotten me to where I am today, but I wish I could have went about things differently. I wish I didn't fully get into being able for people to search me up on the hub and stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with the OnlyFans aspect of it, but yeah, I mean, it is not going to be the easiest if I do have a son and they go to school and he gets older and his friends are like, hey, your mom's on the hub. I just looked her up. So that's also why, I'm glad that I took a step back when I did from being on Pornhub.
Okay. Anybody else who does OF want to answer that? Anybody?
Kirsten?
I mean, I think it'll definitely affect children. Like I said before, I've had one of my old managements, she was huge on Pornhub, and her kids are severely bullied because of it. It definitely will. I know when I get to that point, when I do eventually want to have kids, I'm going to do my best to wipe myself from the internet. But you know what? I made the decisions that I made, and I'm okay with that.
I think it's just also having a conversation with your kids and sitting them down and letting them know beforehand. Because I would rather sit my kids down before it gets to a certain age where people start going on these websites and letting them know so they're aware of it and they can kind of get a thicker skin before they walk into something that they're not aware of.
Yeah, kind of control the narrative a little bit.
Exactly.
Have an open and safe space to be able to communicate. Open line of communication for your child is super important. My mom was a stripper, and it was in a small town, very local. Like, people knew that she did that. And my mom was also a very young mom. So I always joked that, I had previous experience at a strip club because I was in my mom's womb while she was the stripper or whatever. So I don't know. I just feel as if it's as long as you have that open line of communication, I'm not saying that makes it any easier on the child's experience because obviously the other kids aren't having that same conversation with their parents. But as long as, you're open and they're not finding out through the other kids. Word of mouth. Yeah, and I mean it's something that we're gonna have to deal with when it gets to that point, whether it's 8 months from now or 10 years down the line.
Are you gonna teach your daughters about the industry, and if so, what will you teach them about it?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I'm not just gonna be like, hey, here's the porn world, and you should definitely do it.
And here's me.
Do you want that for them?
I am not gonna judge my children at all on what they decide to do because I don't have the support of my parents at all, and I don't talk to them. And I always said growing up that I would be completely opposite of what my parents have done for me. Mm-hmm. So I will always have my kids' back. I will give them guidance if they do decide to sit me down one day and say that they do want to get into the industry. I would give them my experience and what I've went through, and I didn't have that guidance. My mom did work for kind of like Playboy. It was a different magazine.
Hustler.
Perfect 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like an old magazine in the 2000s, and I grew up in that house pretty much, and it was exactly like the Playboy house. It was
no way.
Yeah, so it was
How
the Perfect
old were
10.
you?
I was young. So it was like the Perfect 10 house. So there was a bunch of models walking around everywhere. They lived at the house. Some of them, I remember Easters, they would have wrestling matches outside. They were naked wrestling and stuff. And I grew up around the sex worker industry.
Yeah.
So again, I am going to sit my daughter down. And if she decides that that's what she wants to do, I will always be supportive, and I will guide her as much as I can to make the wrong or right decisions.
Do you want that though? That's what I'm asking. I of course you would. You would love your child. But
Of
course.
course.
But do you want that for them? That's what I want
I mean,
to know.
I don't think it's the most ideal job, no. But again, if that is what they want to do, I will 100% support them, and I will 100% have their back. But again, I will give them the experience that I went through and the good things and the bad things.
And I think that every person can agree that they want to do more for their child than their parent did for them, and they also want more for their child than they had for themselves, right?
And I think it comes down to the kind of life that your child wants. You know, I mean, some porn stars have been offered experiences that they wouldn't otherwise have had, right? And it's just a matter. And even with me and my journey as an OnlyFans model, like to be honest, I haven't through my experience as a model because and I haven't been subject to like some of the toxic aspects of the industry. You know, I've been in charge. It's been really a positive experience for me and a really empowering one. And it's offered me, I mean, just through social media, so many like access to experiences that I'm really grateful for, incredible freedoms, and I absolutely love my life that I've built and the opportunities that I have. And entrepreneurially, I feel like a lot of potential.
Would it be worth it if you never got married?
Well, I mean, I've never really been one of those girls who's like,
Okay, so you don't care.
Single,
I mean,
unmarried
I,
women are
yeah,
the
I-
happiest
right-
demographic.
I mean, like, what do you
Yeah,
want your
it's
life to
not-
look like at 65?
a lot of friendship, a lot of self-expression, authentic self-expression.
Because do what you want, but like my thing is a lot of times people make these decisions and then whine about the consequences later.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hear that. I think it really just depends on how you go into anything. And like, even just to take it back to like, I mean, like, anything, even if you take it back to the original conversation about, even escorting, I'm like, I think when it comes to any part of like, sexual objectification, it's really like how your perspective is, the way that you go into and experience that situation determines whether or not you feel power from it or you give power through it and you lose power, and whether it becomes like traumatic or empowering. Like they're two different things. So, so it's just a really matter of personal preference and opinion. My life, I've never wanted a normal, typical fucking life. And I haven't had one. And do I want what most people want at 65? Probably not.
I also feel like I would rather, if I was saying where I would be at 60, I would rather be by myself at 60 or 65 and genuinely happy with myself and where I have come in my life than be in a toxic relationship in a
But why are
husband
those
or
the
whatever.
only two options?
I
You
mean, I
could
do
be in a-
OnlyFans and I'm in a happy relationship. Obviously, we have our ups and downs, but like overall, I have a very happy relationship.
Good for you.
But I feel like you're saying over here that you can't have a happy relationship. You're never going to get married if you do OnlyFans.
I think it's less
My boyfriend's very
likely.
supportive. I don't do
I think-
OnlyFans, but I dance, and he's very supportive.
I think it's less likely. And it's, I
depends
mean,
on
you
the
guys,
man, right?
I mean, you guys are young though. You don't know what life's going to look like at 35, 40. Like, and I've talked to older women that have done OnlyFans and done corn work. And a lot of times, like a guy will date you in his 20s and then like dump you when he wants to find his wife.
I know a lot of
So-
people
That
that are
it's
in
really
a
early
woman.
to say though
Yeah,
what
depends
the
on the
future
person.
looks like for
I mean,
OnlyFans, which is so
especially
new, right?
especially for
I mean, I
our
think there's-
generation specifically, it's very. I'm not saying that it's super right, but it is a lot more normalized than a 30-year-old
And let's
man's
also
generation is.
too though like just acknowledge the fact too that OnlyFans is a premium content platform. There are comedians with OnlyFans. There's such a wide variety of the kind
Yeah,
of
but
content
the- I
that's
mean,
on
the
OnlyFans. There's a
connotation,
total
yeah.
stigma,
There's
but it
also-
is not porn industry.
I'm not
they
saying
aren't
I'm
two
not
in the
saying
same
that
thing.
nobody is going to get married. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Especially
no.
when you have a really like you guys are all very pretty. So
Thank you. So are you.
yeah, thank you. But sometimes like pretty women have different outcomes than the average chick. And so the average chick is going to sign up to
True.
OnlyFans. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know you guys personally,
Totally
but
true.
but there are a lot of girls that are going to do OnlyFans, and it's not going to it's not going to end well for them. And it's easy to say this now, I'm in a happy relationship. You don't know what your life's going to be like in
I
10,
also
15,
think
20
too,
years.
like, what somebody does for a period of time doesn't define what they are and
But
what
it
they do
does.
forever,
If someone,
right?
it does though, because like if I'm gonna date a guy and he said I went to prison for 5 years, like I'm out.
I mean,
If he said I got 3 women pregnant, but don't worry, I've changed. I'm like, you know what? That's not for me.
So, Kiana,
I'm good.
you said you'd be a nurse if you weren't doing what you're doing now. What would the rest of you do if you weren't doing your current job?
I'm sorry, but comparing prison and what was the other thing you said?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
No,
no,
prison
getting
and
somebody getting 3
yeah,
women pregnant.
comparing prison and OnlyFans and getting 3 women pregnant, like those are
You know
two.
what's funny? You know what's
like,
funny? I actually think that like the comparison isn't fair because when men go to prison, they actually have more women that are interested in them as far as the opposite, where OnlyFans has the opposite,
I
where you have
don't-
less men interested in long term.
I don't know.
I don't think
just
what
feel
I-
like. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just feel like that's not a good comparison. And
Okay,
think
that's
this
cool. Hey, we're going to redirect the conversation here. Okay, for those of you just tuning in or just want to be caught up, we're having major technical issues. monitors are busted, was previously scuffed. So we're like, I'm struggling to manage the stream right now on my end. Okay, let's move on. Flan Life, thank you for all the gifted subs, man. Appreciate it. TD, thank you for the 50. We have Mike Davis. It's not going to show, but whatever. Sorry, guys, we cannot display the super chats anymore. I'll read them, but yeah, it's just not going to display. Yo, Mike Davis, thank you for the 100, man. Yo, Steelworker, you got your priorities all messed up. Who gives a fuck what women want? Go secure the bag for your king. Mike Davis got generational wealth because doesn't concern himself with these twisted-minded women. My motto is if it makes money, it makes sense. That's from Mike Davis. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Props with Mike.
Mr. Cappadocia, thank you, man. Ladies, are they real or are they enhanced? Betting Pool says 4 of you are artificially blessed. Was it worth it? Was it an investment that paid off? Did your interactions with men change? Well, I think we should wait until someone comes back from the bathroom to address that one. But I'll come back to that. Cappadocia, thank you, man.
Okay, I'm kind of interested to know too.
What's up?
I said I'm interested to know too.
Oh, do you?
No, I was just interested.
I think there's a couple here at the table. All right, we have Beat and Cheeks here. Thank you, man. I'll only apologize to you, Brian, not for what I said, but I have a soft question I've not asked in a while to the panel, to the OF girls. I really want to move off of this OF shit. Okay, do your fathers know about your content or have they disowned you?
My dad doesn't speak to me anymore. So
Because you started doing adult content?
He found out. He knew. He was like still kind of speaking to me when I did when I was working at the club, but I think my cousin found me or something on the hub, and he found out, and he does not speak to me.
So disowned.
Yeah,
My mother disowned also, or?
both.
Both disowned.
Both.
Double disowned.
Yes.
Unfortunate.